I want to take everybody right now to an alert I got, okay? And my brother who sent this to me, I will get an answer from the Lord, because again, I want to thank you for your bravery. I want to thank you for service to the country, and I pray, and this is my prayer for you, that you will be at the right place at the right time, never the wrong place at the wrong time, and that the living God will deliver you and your family. And I thank God for your stalwartness in showing me what a true warrior for Jesus Christ is all about. I'll tell you what's cool is when guys like my source get saved, to them that are forgiven much, they love much. I think that, I think that there's a point coming and the decision will be made for me, but I have to make the decision for ours. It's not, my concern for people's safety, Doug, is what's really on my heart, okay? I know what it's like to have people murdered because of information they gave me. And, I have got, Lord, please help my mouth that I don't let go, because, Jesus, I don't want to say what I want to say. I won't say what I want to say. Warning of how serious right now from federal active LEO source high up. Whether you believe me or not, Doug has been copied. Doug Hagman has been copied on this. He's seen the pictures. He's seen the credentials. This is no Bravo Sierra. This is no spineless jellyfish in the aquarium of life with surface scum floating on the top. Gee, new metaphors. Like I told you before, Steve, there's a lot of us out there in the top secret and beyond community that is pushing out intel little by little. This, sadly, is my mindset now. Those that I've told, I gave all the same warning. When it starts, and if you can make it to me, don't be empty-handed. He's saying, don't come to me with nothing, expecting me to take care of you. How many of you, I'm going to interrupt this and speak to this email, because this has really provoked me to do something. How many of you have heard from friends and relatives, or even wise-ass enemies, or people that have done nothing but make fun of you, saying, I'm coming to your house when it all gets bad? Oh, really? And then he goes on, my source goes on to say, and then I would hear their laughs, and I would go further into my warnings. When this happens and you come to my protection empty-handed and expecting me to take care of you, you are going to be surprised at my lack of response. This may sound bad. In fact, I know it does, but I had to tell my oldest brother after I tried waking him up what is going to happen, that if he came empty-handed, he would leave with only the shoes on his feet. This is how seriously it will get, Steve. Thankfully, I'm a Christian. My values would not allow me to do such an action, but the mercenary side of me would. What I'm trying to explain is it's so dead serious right now that if I were to talk to people who didn't come prepared, I would be taking, if I were to take people in who did not come prepared, I would be taking my small ration of food away from my children. That's not happening. Also, I praise God he gave me my wife who can keep that side of me in balance during these situations. But I still have to wait for days or weeks to get an email response from someone in crime stats. If the U.S. Army, now here, listen to this, everyone. If the U.S. Army has a plan to shut down and stop all traffic and significant incidents from happening in New York City on the first day, fight the city on the second day, capture the city on the third day, and by the fourth day move on to another city, then that would tell us that 24 hours after a massive shutdown or martial law event, you're screwed, and you ain't going to get out of it in no time soon. I'm quoting. If this is offensive to you, please go put your head in the sand or get it out of where it doesn't belong. I want you to know that's part of my damn job. I'm quoting. It's hard being an insider. It's hard knowing when to stop and get out of, when to know that I've gone too deep. Well, I'm at the water's edge looking into the abyss, and the next step is the plunge. Please, Steve, be ready, but think of this. Can you stop a platoon of infantry Marines or Russians that are accompanied with a few tanks and drones carrying lethal weapons? Only safe bet is to go to a place where choke points and concealment go hand in hand. Time to go into the woods. Overhead, tree cover can break up heat signatures. Thousands of trees can block tanks and ground troops. Choke points and concealment plus cover. Now, Doug, I don't know if you read this, but this really hit me, okay? This took me back. Your homes are coffins, your cars are hearse. And no commercial-grade underground bunker or reinforced house can stop me from wanting to get to you, period. There is nothing you can do about it. Get out of the cities. Get out of the towns. Time for running and hiding will be irrelevant when you have no place to go. Oh, yeah, for those who love their cell phones and tablets, if you go into the woods or mountains or valleys to make your shelter, don't bring your electronics. Don't bring your electronics. You imagine some people run... Yeah, that should be given, but it's not, okay? If you feel you have to, then disable them by wrapping them up in some EMP pouches and foil, take the battery out. It can all be tracked. It's all being tracked anyway. Be prepared. Make your shelter now. Make it small. Make sure off the beaten path. And here's what he said. Now, I got news for you. He knows the world in which he's coming from. I haven't even begun to tell you what he shared with me about what they encountered in Iraq, the real zombies. Well, I don't believe there are such things. Then turn off Hagman and Hagman and go back to your own bowl or vial of indifference, Listen to this. He said, make sure you're off the beaten path. I have 12 shelters that only need supplies, made from the environment. Looks like it belongs there. Think of why we couldn't defeat the Vietnamese. Sorry for the rant, but I'm at the point that I can't be civil about this sort of thing anymore. All I can do is try to scare sense into people. God help us all. Lord help me when it starts, and that's who I just prayed for. What I'm flabbergasted at, Doug, is that most Christians are almost like they take the Barbara Bush denial. Oh, I don't want to fill my beautiful mind with such horrible things, I don't want to fill my beautiful mind. Your mind is so filled with neuro-linguistic programming, infrasonic subconscious altering thoughts that you've already pacified. See, that's the problem, Doug, and that's why they got to take out, quote, who they see as the heavyweights. Jade Helm 15, look, the United Nations Security Council is already signing secret deals with Obama. What was your thought, Joe and Doug? I want to let you guys speak. When you found out that they're being welcomed in here to deal with domestic terrorists, which ultimately means gun owners, Christians, of course, Christians first, constitutionalists, Bill of Rights people, Ron Paul voters, homeschoolers, anybody who's ever complained, what was your thought? Let's go to Joe. What was your thought?
Well, my thought was all the previous lexicons and manuals weren't just for show, and they were, they're implementing, they're moving in against those who want individualism instead of collectivism. They're making good on their promise.
Absolutely. Doug?
Steve, real simple, and ladies and gentlemen, real simple. Everything that Steve had said before, told me before, when I laughed, when I chuckled, when I even, openly said, hey, Steve, I think you're a little bit off on this. I think you're hyping this up too much. When I said that to Steve, immediately, it hit me, and I realized, boy, some investigator I am, really. And it's all happening. It's all real. And here it is. And if you don't believe it, well, then, as Steve said, we can, I'm sure we can turn on Extreme Makeover Pentagon Edition, I suppose. But, it's all right there.
Well, okay, how will it play out? We already know, and let me just ask three questions. What are hundreds of thousands of military-age men from the Middle East, Muslims who hate Christians, obviously, who won't even accept help if it had a red cross on it? Starving, and they just burned, or tossed it back to the Hungarians that were trying to help them. What is the real reason for all the immigration coming into the United States? Okay, point one. Point two, is it conceivable that all the arms and ammunition that we remember seeing from DHS and other areas are being positioned and strategically stockpiled for those who are coming from the outside to take us over? We don't have a Trojan horse. We got a Trojan policy. And unfortunately, it's not a prophylactic that will keep the country from being raped. We are now in a situation for where strangers from without possess us from within, a curse out of Deuteronomy. We are now the borrowers and not the lenders, and the lenders will come out on top, and the borrowers will be brought down very low. The takeover is au fait accompli, meaning it's already accomplished. People send me emails, Doug, saying, well, can't we all get together and pray and listen, yes, we can. But years ago, and I was on talk radio and I'm on record over it, is that I said, God has spoken to me. Well, he hasn't spoken to me. Well, I said, well, then I pray he does. You're not to pray for the country, Steve. It's been given over. I gave them chance after chance, sent warning after warning, and still they will not listen. Yet they harden their hearts against me and mock the Son of my love, Jesus Christ. How any Christian, and the Middle Eastern Christians are showing me what real faith is. They're showing me what it means to die for their faith. And you know, Doug, I used to say, if you can't live for your faith, what makes you think you can die for it? Well, I don't want to be socially unacceptable. The people will cut your heart out and eat it, just like they did in the French Revolution. You're worried about what they think? I love what Matt Drudge said last night. He said, I've had a 20-year good run. He said, I don't care if there's a survey on the top of my site, love me or hate me. I wish I could have said that. I can't, because it's gotten to me over the years, betrayal at the hands of people. I'm sorry, I'm not good at receiving betrayal, but it's gotten to me. But what's gotten to me more is that it truly, the cowardice, the absolute, what would I call this? I don't know any word. I don't have a word great enough to define the contempt I have for the nameless people. You know, that's why I asked you. I had one guy, just one woman guy, I don't know, coward, said, why do you always scream at people? Well, I can't tell my volume because I have really bad hearing, okay? And you know, I need a miracle in my ears. I've got the best, you know, hearing aids, but they're not working any longer to the degree I need them to. So I'm frustrated, but what I'm more frustrated by is the fact that people will spend more time bitching, I'm sorry if you hate the word, slandering, gossiping, belittling, lying, and all that. And people say, well, you just got to toughen up. You spineless coward, never send me that statement. And Doug, I'm just tonight, I'm come to the point where do I dare post any more alerts that could get people killed? And these people are brave. They know it might cost them their life. But I say to God, you know, if you're gonna keep me on these, and here's where I'm at. I said, Lord, you've got to give me a sign. You've got to give me a sign that you're going to protect these men and women. I cannot, Lord, nor will I be a partaker of their untimely deaths, okay? I just won't do it. You know, after 25 years on talk radio, and I'm not saying I'm not doing talk radio. I'm only talking about not posting any more alerts. And so I'm asking the Lord, and pray for me tonight, what do you want me to do, Lord? Because I have been unable, okay? And I'm going through soul searching, warning veterans, doing everything I can, you know, helping this guy, buying this guy teeth, you know, feeding this one. Some of my clients who have spent hundreds of thousands in donation feeding West Coast homeless shelters, literally one couple. And the bottom line is doing everything we do, and at the end of the day, 335,000 vets are dead from the time I first gave that warning. I'm considered a pariah in the Veterans Administration. If anybody brings up my name, they bring, what is it called, security and the shrinks in, because somehow they think that telling the truth will prompt some guy to get up and go wacky. Like one guy said, Steve, I've got both my legs missing, and a vet, you know. And he sent me a letter, and as I sat there, I thought, God, I wish he still had feet I could wash. That was my response, okay? Mm. You know, this is a man's man, and these are the people we're killing off. Now we have 865,000 vets, Doug, that are waiting for this, and I warned them because the vets were the only one that could have made a difference. And I want to say this. Jesus said, let your yeas be yeas and your nays be nay, because anything more than that proceedeth out of sin. That's why he said don't make a vow. The reason Jesus said that is the fallen angels made a vow to go and do this thing, which was interbreed with humanity. That's what it's talking about. That's what the book of Enoch explains. Fast forward to the military. Isn't it interesting that all those generals who could have made a difference didn't? Isn't it interesting that the ones that tried, obviously there were ones that were murdered, but I actually knew 4- and 5-star generals, and yes, there are those that could have made a difference and didn't. You know, and so here's the thing: the idea that somehow we go on talking on talk radio, or I go on posting on, and yet when does it finally set in? Like Steve Rocco just said, it only will set in when the banks close, when reverse hypothecation, when there's a cyber attack. PayPal went down, not a yawn. Well, the next day I was able to get my money. Well, think beyond that. And I won't say what I was going to say. Think beyond that when you can't. The cyber attacks, the hacking going on, the manipulation, the overnight. And I will tell you this, in 1 hour, you mark my words, 1 hour, the entire financial system of the United States will be brought to its knees. It can be done by cyber attack, more easily done by an EMP. The idea that there's anybody who trusts the U.S. any longer, show me anybody except Great Britain. And Britain finally realized that they better do something about their defense budget or they're toast. Look at all of the denial over chemtrails. This is kind of a get with it, people, because this is where we're at right now. Will the air raid sirens even go off? I doubt it. Will it take 6 or 16 nukes to get people to say, well, as long as it didn't happen in my little part of Indiana or my little part of Arkansas, who the hell cares? Well, again, you can't look at it this way. Everybody has got a stake in this thing.